Have you ever encountered someone whose words seemed to seep like poison into your life? Whose every move felt calculated to break you, confuse you, and weaken you? A narcissist is not just a person who seeks attention. They are a force that thrives on manipulation, deceit, and destruction. They will use every tool at their disposal, from lies to flattery, to try to break you down and make you question your own worth. They will tell you things that aren't true, twist your reality, and make you feel like you are the problem. And when they fail to break you, when their lies no longer have power over you, they begin to hate you. The very thing they relied on to control you no longer works, and that's when their rage and hatred become palpable. But why do narcissists react this way when they can't break someone? What is it about the failure to manipulate, deceive, and control that triggers their anger? In this video, we'll dive deep into the dynamics of narcissistic relationships and explore the psychological and emotional warfare they attempt to wage on their targets. By understanding how narcissists think and why they feel compelled to destroy those they can't control, you'll gain invaluable insights into why they hate you when they fail to break you. Before we dive into today's topic, I want to invite you to take a moment to like this video, subscribe, and share it with anyone who needs to hear this message. If you've ever felt like you were the target of a narcissist's lies and deceit, or if you've struggled to understand why they seem to hate you when you don't give in, this video is for you. Together, we'll unpack the truth behind narcissistic manipulation and explore how to protect yourself from their toxic tactics. So sit tight, grab your favorite drink, and let's explore the dark world of narcissism and how to reclaim your peace. Let's get started. Narcissists are driven by one fundamental desire: control. It is the central force that propels every action they take, every word they utter, and every interaction they engage in. Their lives revolve around establishing dominance over others, bending people to their will, and feeding their insatiable need for admiration, attention, and validation. Everything they do is part of a carefully constructed strategy to maintain power and control. In the early stages of any relationship with a narcissist, they will often come across as incredibly charming, engaging, and seemingly attentive. They know how to captivate and seduce with words, showering you with compliments, making you feel like you are the most important person in their world, and creating an illusion where you feel truly special and unique. This charm is not genuine affection, though. It is a calculated move to establish a sense of dependency in you, a way to hook you into their web. Beneath this magnetic charm, however, lies a much darker reality that you might not initially recognize. The narcissist is not interested in forming a genuine, authentic connection with you. Instead, their goal is much more sinister. They are seeking to control you, to manipulate your emotions, to bend your perceptions, and to create a relationship that revolves around fulfilling their needs. They want to create a bond, but it is a bond that serves only their ego and desires, not your well-being. They need to control your thoughts, your actions, and your very sense of self so that they can continue to feed off of you, gaining admiration, boosting their ego, and keeping you in a constant state of emotional dependence on them. As the relationship continues, the narcissist's true nature begins to surface. The initial charm fades, and they start to reveal the more toxic aspects of their personality. They will begin to use more subtle and insidious tactics to keep you under their control. Lies, deceit, and manipulation become commonplace. They will twist your words and make you feel guilty for things that aren't your fault. They might even engage in gaslighting, causing you to question your reality, your memories, and your own perception of events. This process is intended to make you feel confused, uncertain, and vulnerable. They want to destabilize you, to make you doubt your own thoughts and judgments, and ultimately, to gain control over your sense of self. The narcissist's ultimate goal is to break your spirit, to wear you down emotionally and mentally so that you are no longer able to stand firm in your beliefs or sense of identity. If they succeed, they have complete control over you. You will be dependent on their approval, constantly seeking their validation, and your self-worth will be tethered to their opinions and actions. This feeds their fragile ego and maintains their sense of power. But not everyone falls into this trap. Some individuals, whether through natural intuition, resilience, personal strength, or a deep sense of self-awareness, are able to recognize the narcissist's manipulative tactics. These individuals refuse to bend to the narcissist's will. They may stand their ground, relying on their inner strength and their understanding of what is truly healthy and authentic in a relationship. They see through the narcissist's attempts to manipulate and control them, and they refuse to let themselves be drawn into the web of deceit. When this happens, something deeply unsettling occurs for the narcissist. They lose control. The methods they've used to manipulate, confuse, and dominate you no longer have the desired effect. The lies, the gaslighting, and the emotional manipulation no longer work because you are no longer vulnerable to them. You become immune to their tactics, and this terrifies the narcissist. Their sense of power is crumbling, and they are left exposed, unable to control you as they once did. This failure to control, to maintain their grip over you, is unbearable for the narcissist. It threatens the very foundation of their fragile self-esteem and sense of superiority. And in this moment of vulnerability, when they realize they can no longer manipulate or dominate you, their hatred towards you intensifies. The narcissist's hatred is not just about losing control. It is a reflection of their deepest fears. They fear that you will expose them, that you will see them for what they truly are, a person incapable of forming real, healthy connections, someone whose entire existence is based on manipulation and deceit. They fear that you will reject them, not just in the physical sense, but on a deeper emotional and psychological level, which is why their hatred becomes so personal and intense. The truth of their failure stings, and rather than facing their own limitations, they project their anger and frustration onto you. This is the moment when the narcissist's true cruelty emerges as they try to regain control by any means necessary, whether through more manipulation, rage, or even attempts at revenge. But regardless of how hard they try, the fact remains that they are no longer in control, and this realization shakes them to their core. It's this very loss of control that drives their extreme reactions and further reveals just how much they are ruled by their need for dominance and validation. Why does the narcissist harbor such intense hatred towards you when they fail to break you down? The root of this animosity lies deeply embedded in their psyche, which is driven by an overwhelming need for control and a fragile, insecure sense of self-worth. Narcissists cannot tolerate the feeling of being powerless or insignificant. Their entire sense of identity is based on their ability to manipulate, deceive, and dominate others, using these tactics to maintain their illusion of superiority and invincibility. When they encounter someone who doesn't submit to their influence, when their manipulative behaviors and deceitful strategies fail to elicit the desired outcome, this failure shakes the very foundation of their identity. In their mind, not being able to break you means they are not as powerful as they believe themselves to be, which is an intolerable realization. It threatens everything they've worked to build in their own minds. It means they have lost control, and for a narcissist, losing control is a fate worse than anything else. This overwhelming sense of hatred they feel is not truly about you as an individual. It is not personal. It is a reflection of their deep-seated insecurities. A narcissist's ego is fragile, much like a house of cards. They spend their lives constantly constructing and reconstructing their self-image, relying heavily on the validation and admiration of others to keep that image intact. But when their manipulative tactics fail, their fragile ego begins to collapse. It starts to crumble, and in the process, their feelings of superiority and self-worth unravel. When they fail to control you, they are confronted with the painful reality that their ego, their sense of power, is not as solid as they thought it was. Their rage and hatred become directed not at themselves, which is something they would never allow themselves to acknowledge, but rather at you. You become the symbol of their failure, the living reminder that they are not as invincible and untouchable as they wish to believe. You represent their inability to control, to dominate, and to manipulate successfully, and that drives them into a fit of fury. So, what follows when a narcissist's attempt to break you has failed? At this point, when they are left with no other options, they often shift to a new, more destructive strategy: retaliation. Since they cannot break you, they will now try to destroy you in other ways. If they cannot control you emotionally, socially, or financially, they will make every effort to undermine and ruin you in those areas. They may resort to spreading false rumors about you, turning others against you, or even engaging in smear campaigns to damage your reputation and standing. Their primary goal is simple: to hurt you, to inflict pain, and to regain some semblance of control over the situation. The deeper objective behind these attempts is to punish you for not falling into their manipulative grasp. However, here's the crucial truth that they fail to realize. Once you've seen through their lies and deceit, their efforts to retaliate lose their power. You have already detached emotionally and psychologically from their manipulation. Their attempts at revenge no longer hold the same weight because you are no longer a victim to their tactics. In fact, by continuing to try to retaliate, the narcissist only exposes more of their true nature, their desperation, their need for control, and their inability to deal with failure. As their efforts grow more transparent, they end up only revealing the depth of their dysfunction, which, ironically, makes them more vulnerable, not less. Ultimately, the more they try to destroy you, the more they unravel their own facade. Thank you so much for watching this video and for taking the time to explore the toxic dynamics of narcissistic manipulation. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more content on dealing with narcissists and protecting your emotional well-being, and share it with others who may be going through similar struggles. Remember, narcissists will try to break you with their lies, but the more they fail, the more they reveal their weakness. Stay strong. Stay firm in your sense of self and never let their deceit control your life. You are not the problem. They are. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.